What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's CJ, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at more NBA player props over on PrizePicks tonight. So we're going to be looking at some points, some rebounds, and some three-point makes. Didn't really see any assists that stood out to me at the moment, but of course, more players will be added throughout the day. Yesterday's video did very well. We had 6 picks that hit out of 8, so 6 for 8, 2 days in a row. So hopefully you guys played some of those picks that I mentioned yesterday. I think the only ones that really I didn't feel great about were D'Angelo Russell's points and Duncan Robinson's points. So hopefully you didn't play those and you played the other 6 picks, because if you did, they all hit. So another fantastic day for yesterday's video. So today we've got a medium-sized slate after yesterday's monster 11-game slate. I'm kind of happy to kind of shrink things down a little bit, get back on track. So we'll definitely be looking at all of the games from today's NBA slate. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for being here. Hit the subscribe button for me and turn on notifications. It's going to become more and more crucial for you to make sure you have notifications turned on for all of my videos that drop, because once the video drops, you should have about a 1-hour window for you to lock in these picks where PrizePicks will not touch them. That is my goal. That is my hope. So definitely make sure you're A, subscribed, and B, you have all notifications turned on for the video. Now today, I'm gonna set the goal for 49.5 likes. I'm gonna take the over again, meaning we've gotta get at least 50 likes on today's video. I believe you guys can do it. You've shown me you could do it before. So I have no doubt we're gonna do it again today. Now, with that out of the way, let's get right into some of these player props. The first one I wanna talk about is Raul Neto. Now, they're taking on the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Of course, Bradley Beal is going to be out once again. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury, so Neto should step into a much larger role. This game tips off at 7:10 p.m., so let's get over here and look at the game totals and the spread. Now, good thing about this game, 238.5 implied points, so tons of points to be scored between these two teams, and the spread is just 6.5 points favoring the Atlanta Hawks. So really big total. Spread's not too worrisome for me. It doesn't look like it's going to blow out. If it does, hopefully it blows out late into the game where it starts to separate there, and whoever ends up winning, hopefully that comes later in the game and we don't get an early blowout here. So anyway, with Neto at 10.5 points, we took him the other day and he ended up going over his points prop. I think I'm looking to take the over again today, but let's type in his name. We're over here on numberfire.com. Now, if you look at Neto, he's at 11.8 points. That is his projected point total today, which is more than 10.5, closer to 12 points actually. So if he were to score 11 or more points and we take the over, well, we're making some cash money tonight. So let's move over to NBA.com. Again, another free resource for you guys who like to do your own research. Go ahead and click on his name, and it opens up in a new tab here. Now, for the season, he's scoring just 8.6 points per game. So his season averages do not look promising if we're looking to take the over. But I will say that the dynamic changes quite a bit when you look at his last 5 games. So let's do that now. And we have to consider the fact that Bradley Beal is out, and that provides a big bump, a big boost for a guy like Neto here in terms of scoring. Now, he's appeared in all 5 of the last 5 games. He's playing over 28 minutes per game, and you can see his scoring average is right at 11 points, which is where we want him to be if we're looking to take the over, right? 11 or more points, we make money, and that's what this video is all about, providing value and helping you make more cheddar. So we're going to head back over here to rotowire.com. Why I like rotowire.com is because they provide 4 of the major sports books side by side, which helps us in this case determine if the action is on the over or the under. Just another way, another reference here in terms of your research, your daily research. So we're looking at the different books across the board here. Now, this is kind of interesting. You got the first one here at a minus 148 for the over. Now, that should make your eyes light up. That should make you perk right up in your seat, because we are looking to take the over here. Now, this next book, minus 116 on the over, not as big of a favorite to go over there, but still favoring the over nonetheless. And finally, minus 133 on the over. So we got 3 of the major sports books. All of the action is on the over here for Neto. We've also got his last 5 game averages working in his favor, 11 points per game in his last 5. And we've got a projection today of, 12 points or something like that, or almost 12 points. So everything seems to be favoring the over here. High game totals, close spread. So I am definitely liking Raul Neto for the over on 10.5 points. Next guy I want to talk about is Lonnie Walker, the point guard, shooting guard, combo guard for the San Antonio Spurs. We haven't talked about him a lot on the channel this season, but he's taking on the Brooklyn Nets tonight in what should be a friendly matchup and another somewhat high scoring game here. So we've got him at 13.5 points. Let's go take a look at Mr. Lonnie Walker. And we'll kick things off by looking at the game totals here. So we got 233 implied points. So anything 230 or more really gets my attention. Those types of games are games that I like to target overs on. So that is what I'm looking to do here for Mr. Lonnie Walker. Now it is a 6-point spread. 6 points is not a small spread, but it's also not one where we're really worried about blowouts or anything like that. Could it change if James Harden is cleared for this game and decides to play? Yeah, I could see Brooklyn potentially turning this game into a blowout, but a young guy like Lonnie Walker should play through a blowout, so I'm not too concerned about that. So now we kind of have an idea of how the game should pan out. Let's go ahead and do a search here for Walker. And you can see that Lonnie Walker is projected for 14.2 points today. So that is more than 13.5. We got to have him at 14 or more. He's got to score at least 14 points or more to hit the over here. So that is a good first step in taking the over on Lonnie Walker. Now we're heading back to NBA.com. We're going to pull up his player card. You can see that for the season, he averages 11.4 points per game. Now, 11.4 is obviously less than 13.5, but you know, things can change over the course of the season. So maybe that sample size for the season isn't the most accurate sample size. So let's go look at his last 5 games and see if that scoring average trends upwards or trends downwards in this case. Now, good news for us, he's appeared in all 5 of the last 5 games, averaging over 26 minutes per game, and he's averaging 12.4 points per game during that time span. So 12.4, still a little bit shy of 13.5, but it's in the neighborhood, right? It's in the same neck of the woods as 13.5. You know, 1 point here or there, and he's 13.5, 14 points. So not too thrown off here by the averages for Lonnie Walker. Now, last but not least, we're going to head back over to RotoWire, and if I could type, then maybe we could find out what Lonnie Walker's points prop is looking like across the industry here. So in this case, we've got 3 sports books out of the 4 that we like to reference. The first one, we're not really seeing any action for the over or the under in this case. The next book actually has got him going under by a slight hair, minus 112 on the under versus minus 110 on the over. And last but not least, the final one's got him going minus 120 on the over. So not really getting much information here from Vegas. In this case, I don't know that I would want to even play this player prop. You know, we do this research together here in real time. I just pick a couple of names that are looking good from just a little bit of research, and then we dig in together. And now that I've dug in here, I don't know that I like this Lonnie Walker prop. But, I mean, if I were to go one way or the other, my gut, if you play with your gut, my gut would say to go over based on the game totals and the spread being what they are. But, yeah, it's not my favorite prop. Okay, fair enough? All right. So let's move on then from that one, and we'll talk one that is looking very nice. It paid off last night, that's for sure. If you played Evan Fournier over points, now he wasn't featured in the video, but I did see this pick floating around on Twitter and in our Discord community. By the way, if you're not a member of the Discord, I'll leave a link down in the description of the video. But if you played Evan Fournier over points last night, well, he did very well. And it's kind of one of those plays that I'm looking to go back to again and see if Evan Fournier can... you know, if lightning can strike twice here for Fournier. So let's look at the game total and the spread real quick on this game. We've got 219 implied points between these two teams, and it's a 6.5 point spread. So while the spread is a little bit concerning because I don't think Cleveland's a very good team, as indicated by their 21-48 record, I am not too worried about it. I think this is a situation where Evan Fournier can still smash 18 or more points in this case. So now that we know kind of how the game is shaping up, let's type in Evan's first name because Fournier is a little too difficult to spell. And you can see his points prop is 21.7. That is his points projection, I should say. So if we rounded this up to 22, I mean, that's quite a bit more than 17.5, right? We only need him to score 18 or more points in this case. So the 21.7 really stood out to me, which is why I'm mentioning him in today's video. So let's move ahead here. We will type in Evan Fournier, or just Evan. You can find him by Evan. Don't Google his last name, by the way. I'm warning you. You have been warned. For the season, he is averaging 17.2 points per game. Now, a lot of his time here was spent with the Orlando Magic, obviously. He has since been traded to the Boston Celtics. So let's look at the last 5 games here and see if that scoring average of 17.2 has gone up or gone down. I would imagine that it has probably taken a bit of a hit, playing alongside the likes of Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum. All right, well, hey, I'm wrong, and I'll be the first to admit it. He's appeared in all 5 of the last 5 games, and he's averaging over 33, almost 34 minutes per game. Now, during this time span, his scoring average is 21.2 points per game. Fantastic scoring output in his last 5 games. So I've already mentioned Jaylen Brown, or I think I mentioned Jaylen Brown is out for the season, guys, in case you haven't heard. And we didn't have Marcus Smart up on the board today, so maybe he's, questionable to play tonight. But anyway, Evan Fournier has been scoring the basketball very, very well. It's actually one of his best attributes as a player. And as a Magic fan, I can tell you that he can score the ball. So things are looking good here for an Evan Fournier over 17.5 points. Now, we look at him here at the 2 sports books that have him up here. Now he's at 19.5 here, and at 19.5, he's a minus 120 under. So 19.5 points, minus 120 under. That makes sense, but we're not looking for him to score a ton of points. He just got to get 18 or more. So even if he scored, let's say under 19.5, 19, somewhere between 18 and 19 points, if he landed there, we would be happy campers. Now at 18.5, he's a minus 120 to go under here. So this is kind of setting up for a situation where he's projected for about 18 points according to the 2 sports books that we have here. So even if he lands on 18, well, guys, we're still good here. We're in the clear in terms of making money. So with all things considered, the game totals being what they are and the spread kind of being close-ish, with his last 5 game averages, his projection for points tonight, and the action that I'm seeing here on these sports books, I think it's still a safe bet to go back to Evan Fournier and expect him to score at least 18 points. We know Cleveland's not very good, and this could be a matchup where we return to glory by playing Evan Fournier. I tried to make that rhyme. That didn't really work out. All right, so I mentioned we don't have any assist props for you today, so we're going to move right into rebounds. And I got 3 different rebound props that kind of caught my eye, so let's talk about those real quick. The first one's going to be Kevin Love. And Kevin Love, man, what a fall from grace. He was a star at one point. He's won championships with Cleveland, and then everybody kind of moved out of Cleveland, meaning LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and left Mr. Love to mend from his injuries on his own. But, enough of the sob story. The guy's taking on the Boston Celtics tonight. We've already looked at the game totals and the spread for this one. 7.5 rebounds. I think it's too high, and I think we can go under on Kevin Love in this situation here. So let's click the rebound column. Let's type in Love, because Love is all we need, right, guys? So 6.8 rebounds is his projection. Even if we round this up to 7, maybe we're feeling a little generous in this situation, 7 rebounds is still less than 7.5. We need him to pull down 7 or less rebounds in this situation here. So we can move ahead here and go to NBA.com and get an idea of just how well Kevin Love has been rebounding over the season and over his last 5 games. So you can see that for the season, 7.2 rebounds per game. That is less than 7.5, meaning if you think about 7 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 7.2 is closer to 7 than 8, right? So that's a good sign for us if we're looking to take the under, which we are, by the way. We're going to click traditional splits, go to advanced filters, change the season segment from all games to the last 5, and click run. All right, so in his last 5 games, he's only appeared in 3 of those games. He's playing close to 29 minutes per game. Now, his rebound averages are on the rise here. 10 rebounds per game in his last 3 games. So 10 rebounds obviously is quite a bit more than 7.5. So yeah, this should put up a little bit of a red flag in your mind, but can't buy into the averages too much. But it is a good reference piece, which is why I mention them in these videos. All right, so over to the different sports books here. We don't have too many of them with a rebound prop for Kevin Love, but the ones that we can reference, we've got a minus 124 on the under, and an even bigger position being taken out here on the 7.5 rebound prop, minus 133 on the under. So both of the sports books that we can reference like the under on this 7.5 rebound prop. On top of that, for the season, his rebound average is below 7.5. Now, I will say his last 5 games, it's a little bit concerning and a knock against Kevin Love here. But all things considered, I think I'm sticking to my guns and hoping that the under is the way to go here. I think the 7.5 rebound prop is still a little bit too high and that he will not pull down 8 or more rebounds. So there you have it on Kevin Love. I'm sticking to it. The under on 7.5 boards. Next guy I want to talk about is Dame time. Yes, I mean Damian Lillard, who's at 4.5 rebounds. Portland Trail Blazers taking on the Utah Jazz tonight. This game tips off at 9:40 p.m. Let's go take a look at the game totals and the spread and see how this one's shaping up. It's one of the late games here, so we go all the way to the end. You got 233.5 implied points between these two teams with a 1.5 point spread favoring the Utah Jazz. So 233.5 points is a pretty big total. Like I said before, anything 230 or more, well, it's a situation where I typically like to target overs. But in this case, I think I'm looking to go under here on Damian Lillard. So let's type in his name, figure out where his rebounds are projected today, according to the fine folks over at Number Fire. Now, we've got him at 4.2 rebounds. Obviously, 4.2, less than 4.5. Now, 4.5 is kind of like a coin flip. And if it lands heads, maybe it's 5 rebounds. If it lands tails, maybe it's 4 rebounds. But 4.2, that means things are leaning more toward 4 than they are 5, according to these projections. So we're moving back to NBA.com. Let's type in Lillard's name, dig in a little deeper here, and get an idea based on his statistical averages for the season and his last 5 games. So you can see for the season, his rebounds are at 4.3. Again, trending toward 4 more often than trending toward 5. So I like the way that's looking. We're going to go a bit further, and we're going to get into his last 5 games. So change the season segment to last 5 games. Click run it. And he's appeared in all 5 of his last 5 games, over 34 minutes per game during that time. Now his rebounds are at 4.4, so still less than 4.5. So we've got season averages and 5-game averages that are below 4.5. Plus we've got a projections that is leaning more toward 4 than it is 5. So all signs are looking good here for the under on Damian Lillard in this 4.5 rebound prop. So we're back here to RotoWire. We're typing in Lillard's name. You can see that across the board here. We've got him at 4.5 boards. We do not have a rebound prop up for him on one of the sites here, but the 3 sites that we do have, we got a minus 134 on the under. Great start. Minus 134 on the under. And finally, minus 139 on the under. So we got 3 sites here that are all in agreement that the under on 4.5 rebounds is the action in which we should pursue. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with the under on this 4.5 rebound prop. I think there's a lot that's working in our favor here, and I see no reason to deviate from going under 4.5 rebounds for Damian Lillard. Next guy I want to talk about is Rudy Gobert. We are at 13.5 rebounds for Rudy Gobert. Now, I've seen him pull down a massive amount of rebounds in the past. I'm not going to take anything away from him. He is a great rebounder, but at 13.5 boards, he's facing the likes of Yusuf Nurkic, Enes Kanter, some big boys down there who will not make it easy on Rudy Gobert. So I'm looking to take the under in case you couldn't tell. So we're heading back to Number Fire, and we're going to type in Gobert's name, being that we already kind of have an idea of the game totals and the spread. Now you could see that he is at 13.2 projected rebounds. Now, obviously that's closer to 13 than it is 14. So for us who are looking to take the under here, I am liking this as a good first sign. Let's move back to NBA.com. We'll type in Gobert's name. There's only one Rudy Gobert in the league. Easy to find him. You can see that for the season, he is pulling in 13.3 rebounds per game. Now, 13.3, obviously less than 13.5, but it is close. But it is less. Okay? It's close, but it is less. So we move over to traditional splits. We'll click Advanced Filters, change this to a 5-game segment, run that thing. And he's appeared in all 5 of the last 5 games, playing just a pinch under 30 minutes per game. Now his rebounds in that time span, 12.2. A fantastic number for us as we are looking to take the under on 13.5 boards. So now we've seen his season averages, his 5-game averages, and his projection tonight, all under 13.5. Boy, I'm just seeing green little check marks going off in my head. So that is looking very, very promising here. Let's type in Rudy. Oh, wow, I forgot. Rudy Gay's still in the league, but we're looking for Rudy Gobert. All right, so across the board, he's at 13.5 boards. The first book that we reference, not seeing any juice flowing under or over here. The next one, minus 122 on the under. Good sign for us. Not super strong action, but action nonetheless. And finally, minus 139 on the under there. So that is a more obvious position being taken out, a stronger way to go here. So guys, with all things considered here, I see no reason why we should fade this pick, meaning don't take it at all. And I see no reason why we should go over on 13.5 rebounds for Rudy Gobert. In fact, I'm liking the under still. Everything that I've seen here, all the evidence, all the information, all the research leads me to believe that under on 13.5 rebounds is still a great way to go on Rudy Gobert. So that is what I'll do. So we talked Damian Lillard already for a rebound prop, but I want to go back to Damian Lillard and I want to talk about a 3-point prop for both Damian Lillard and for his wingman, CJ McCollum. So we'll start things off with Lillard, who's at 3.5 3-point makes. I think he goes over in this situation. So let's type in Lillard's name here. I'm giving you, you go to those restaurants and you can have like pork 3 ways. I've heard of a sandwich where it's like, pulled pork with like bacon on it and ham or whatever. Well, this is one of those situations where I'm giving you Damian Lillard 2 different ways in terms of his props. You could go with the rebound prop that I mentioned, or you could go with this 3-point prop, but you can't go with both on PrizePicks, okay? You got to choose one or the other. So hopefully you like one of these. So we'll click stats. We'll go down and click traditional splits. And for the season, you can see that he's attempting 10.6 3-point attempts per game. No, that is not a mistake. He takes a lot of 3-point shots per game. Now, on those 10.6 attempts, he is making 4.1. Now, we need him to make exactly 4 or more in this situation here at 3.5 3-point makes. So that is looking very good. Now, even better for us, well, in his last 5 games in which he's appeared, in all 5, 10 3-point attempts, and he's making over half of them, 5.4 3-point makes in his last 5 games. Guys, this is looking like a for sure thing for me so far based on these averages. The 3-point makes for Damian Lillard at 3.5 are just too low in my opinion. But let's go over to the 3-point props on the 3 sports books it looks like we have to reference. So we've got him at a 3.5 across the board, and he's a minus 120 to go over here. A even bigger favorite here, minus 132 to go over and minus 125 to go over. So we've got 3 different books. All of them agree that over on 3.5 3-point makes is the way to go. His season averages back that up. His last 5 game averages even more so back that up and solidify the over in this situation. So I see no reason at all why we should go under on Damian Lillard. In fact, I'm going to stick with my guns and hope Damian Lillard is absolutely hot from 3-point range tonight. So 4 or more 3-point makes is in Damian Lillard's future, I believe. Now, the last guy we're going to talk about, and I alluded to him earlier, is CJ McCollum, his wingman here. We've got him at 2.5 3-point makes, and this is another situation where I'm looking to take the over on his 3-point makes. I think this is a game where both of these guys could drop 3 to 4 3-pointers apiece. So let's head back over here to NBA.com to kick things off. And we type in CJ McCollum's name here, click stats, and click traditional splits. And in here you could see that for the season, he's attempting 9 3-pointers per game, and he's making 3.6 on those 9 attempts. So 3.6, obviously quite a bit higher than 2.5. So the over is looking like a great way to go so far. Now we changed the season segment from all games to 5 games. Click run it again. And Okay, so 7.6 three-point attempts in his last 5 games. So those are down a little bit versus his season averages, but still the good number that we want to see here is this 3, and that is 3 3-point makes over his last 5 games, because we need him to make at least 3 or more in order for this over on this 2.5 3-point prop to hit. So everything's still looking like it's on track here for the over for CJ McCollum in these 3-pointers. So last but not least, we've got 3 out of 4 sports books where we can reference the action, the juice, the way things are looking on the different sports books here. So we've got one here for minus 125 on the over, good start. Minus 128 on the over, even better. And finally, minus 118 on the over. So all 3 of these books agree that the over on 2.5 3-point makes looks like a sound decision for us when we're taking these props over on PrizePicks. So I'm going to stick with it. I like both Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum to go over 2.5 3-point makes. But that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you found some value. And hopefully you played last night's lineup and the night before, and you guys are continuing to make money. If you are, leave a like on this video. Help us hit our goals. Double check. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. As I mentioned, everything we've talked about in today's video has a shelf life. These props are sure to change throughout the day, so get them locked in before it's too late. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is CJ, and until the next video, peace.